Hi, my name is Samantha Evans, and I'm doing my library assignment on a graphic novel called Saga. The creative team for it is Brian K. Vaughan. He is the writer, and Fiona Staples is the artist. Phonographics does the lettering and the design of it. Eric Stevenson is the coordinator. The publisher is Imagine Comics Inc., and it's 169 pages long. It is a graphic novel, and the story is basically it's Marco and Alana's story, and it's their daughter Hazel that's actually telling it. She's in the future and she's going back into the past to tell about her story. In volume one, this graphic novel has 54 installments as of 2018. The main objective for Marco and Alana is for them to get off the planet Cleve. They spend all of volume one trying to get to that goal with a lot of obstacles, trying to keep them from achieving it because they're wanted. They are pretty much deserters, and they're wanted by both of their planets. They're from two different planets, and both of their planets want them. They want them either dead or want them in custody. So there's a lot of obstacles that they face as they go through this book. The story definitely has a clear, solid arc. It starts with Alana and Marco having their baby on Cleve, and it finishes with them actually leaving Cleve and the grandparents coming to live with them. They're on their way to another place, and the grandparents, his parents, Marco's parents, come and live with them. The characters do have a solid arc. Some of them do, very subtle, but the one that has the biggest arc change is Marco. He changes. In the beginning of the story, he's all about the love, and he doesn't want to fight soldiers that have come to kill him and his family. He tries to talk them out of hurting him. They manage to escape, but after being almost killed again and losing his wife and daughter, he realizes that the only way really to stay safe is to use his sword and fight the enemy physically, because that really is where his power lies. He does magic and he does spells and binds things, but his magic is really in this sword that has been in his family for a long time. So he decides to use this sword, but it's a violent way. And he doesn't want to be violent because he's a father now and he wants to show his baby that there's another way. But the whole galaxy is in a war. The war that started on both of their planets has permeated the rest of the galaxy, and now they're in a war. And so he goes from in the beginning being this loving, happy, oh my goodness, my daughter has been born, I'm a father now, to deciding that, sometimes you really have to take the low road and you have to fight. And that's what he does in order to finally escape this planet after meeting all these crazy obstacles in his way. Within this work, I saw 3 of the transitions that McLeod uses. There was moment to moment, there was action to action, and subject to subject. The other 3, scene to scene, aspect to aspect, and non sequitur, those are not used. The artwork in this book is stunning, and it definitely uses directional flow to keep the reader on track with the dialogue and the direction that the story is going. I'll show you some of the paperwork. Like here, this is the first time they come across this really insane fight that's going on the planet of Cleve. Cleve is not supposed to be in a fight, but here they are in the middle, and then there's a fight. So it does use beautiful, stunning photography, artwork. Here's another fight. There's a lot of fighting in this book because there's a lot of enemies and they're being infiltrated by people. This is my favorite character, Isabel. She is one of the horrors. Here they are. They're children who have died on the planet of Cleve for the war. And people think of them as horrors. What they do is use mental mirages to get people to think that they are bad and that they do terrible, terrible things to the bodies of people. And they actually don't. It's all a mental image that they put into the minds of the people that are on this planet so that they can protect themselves. Even though they're dead, they still want to protect what's left of their planet that's been destroyed. And so Marco and Alana come across this group of misfits, and they actually befriend Isabel. And she actually becomes very close to their daughter, Hazel. Hazel describes her as one of the first babysitters. But you can see the artwork is very stunning, and it does use directional flow to keep the reader on track. Here's another one that's pretty interesting. This is the stalker, or the stalk. She is one of the freelance people that is hired to go after Alana and Marco. And here she's talking to another freelancer, the Will. and he wants to get her to go back with him to help him do stuff. And she gets killed. You can see she gets killed. She gets shot at. And while she's still on the phone with the Will, this is the picture that happens. This is what happens to her. She gets shot in the chest by another major player who's also looking to get Alana and Marco back and stop them from escaping they're just in love and they just want to find peace and get to where they need to get to, which by the end of the book, they do get to leave Cleve. So the objective is met, and it's a really good story. Would I recommend it to my classmates? I most definitely would recommend it to my classmates. I think that this story is dynamic. It has love. It has war. It has lots of surprises. And that really is only in the first chapter. There's 6 chapters. The art is stunning. It supports the narrative. The dialogue flows. And you really genuinely start to feel for the players that are involved in this story. I mean, Marco and Alana, I was really rooting for them. And even Hazel, their daughter, who is not even in the story, she's only there as a voice because she's telling the story as it unfolds. So you really start to feel for her too. So the writer of this story did a really good job in pulling people in, and then with the complement of the artwork, this is a really good book. I will warn you, it does have nudity and it does have gore. So if you're not into that, I would suggest you don't read this book because, there is. I won't show it because if you don't like to, I know you have to watch this. I don't want to offend anyone. Would I recommend it to my friends? No, not my friends. My friends, most of them are a bit prudish when it comes to like nudity and gore. They're very, Christian moral mentality. And I don't think any of the friends that I have would actually read a graphic novel, no matter how good the story was or even how clean it was. They're more into books, like reading books, literature books. So, I would probably talk to them about it because it really is a good story and I wouldn't want anyone to like overlook it. I'm very happy that I read it, and I'm looking forward to reading the other installments that are involved because I want to find out what happens to the characters. Even though it's not done, there's 9 volumes currently, and my daughter has most of them, and that's where I got this from her library because she's a big comic book person, graphic novel person. And finally, to wrap it up, my fun fact. When I was doing research on the background of this novel, I found it interesting that the creators of Saga have been offered numerous TV and movie deals. Like, seriously, they have been, like, from everywhere. It's a very famous graphic novel. And they've been offered a lot of TV deals and a lot of movie deals. And they've refused to do anything with any type of TV or any type of movie with this story. And when they asked them, well, why, you can get it out to the masses more people can see it, you can get more people to fall in love with Alana and Marco and Hazel, they said they felt that the story would lose its integrity if it's transferred to any other medium than graphic novel. It started out as a graphic novel. They want to keep it as a graphic novel because trying to transfer graphic novel to movies or TV, something's going to get lost in translation, and they don't want that to happen. So that's my library assignment. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope if you're interested, you really do read this book. It's really good. I guess that's all I can say. Thank you so much for listening, and have a great day. Bye.